Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Dave Stevens' The Rocketeer Artisan edition. Now, it's not the artist edition, which would be enormous and hardback and weigh a ton, because that's the trouble with all of those artist editions. They weigh a massive. The worst one is the Mad edition. I think that's just enormous, just literally possible to lift. But this one, so much easier. IDW book came out in 2017. The original came out in 2010. It's 136 pages in black and white, though, of course, as I always point out, these are colour scans, so there are some colour. You can see all the underlying blue pencil, so all the lovely sketches and things. You can just look at and see the original artwork as well. Not very much, of course, it's been inked over, but it's still, I would love to see if they brought out an edition where it was all just the inked pages. That would have been even better, but of course, that would have had to be scanned and stored beforehand. So you got that there. And there's all the details, obviously, of all the IDW there. The Rocketeer by Dave Stevens. And this includes all of his pages, apparently 100 odd pages. That's it. I was looking on the Wikipedia, there's been obviously a lot more since, but I was quite surprised how it finished to suddenly, I thought, oh. So if you're expecting a long story that comes to a sort of satisfying conclusion, it's not going to be it. But if you're going to come to just to appreciate superb artwork, this book is indispensable. If you're a Rocketeer fan, I think this must be certainly for your bookshelf. I think it's probably out of print already. Who knows? I know, so I looked online, so it does seem to be unavailable at the moment. So it's one of those tricky ones. However, worth looking out for if you can find a copy. Just beautiful artwork all the way through. I love his jetpack. I love the things he never thinks about anything particularly. He seems to just basically go from one scene to the next. He sort of doesn't matter. He just goes and does it. You know, issues like, you've got to put some fuel in it occasionally. Is it done on magic? Because it would be sort of useful to how does it get powered up kind of thing. So there's all those sort of things. He just seems to go off on his own, which is perfectly reasonable, of course. But just look at that glorious artwork all the way through this. Now, there's a couple of pages, one or two pages not scanned from original. You can really tell the difference, but even that is really still quite sharp and quite nice. Yeah, that's the one that's there. You can see the artwork next door to it. Absolutely, but he does get into a lot of adventures. He's got some great characters. He's got Betty Page character that that's really good, and also, of course, some villains, etc. I love the New York adventure one as well. Actually, that's beautiful. That's enough. Look at that. Just a superb drawing there. That would be a mistake. Glorious. Absolutely glorious. Well, just ends, and that's it, sadly, but it's still, what a brilliant, brilliant book. I must admit, I was looking to see there's apparently loads of the complete collections and colour ones, and even they're quite expensive now. So hopefully they'll do another printing of those. I'd love to see another printing of that. Probably buy a copy this time. I should have bought a copy years ago. I've got quite a few of the early, did have them at the time, but I've got rid of them years ago. So, but you've got some bonus material at the back. Rocketeer, which is always good. Now, of course, you've got Rocketeer with the Spirit. I think it's Rocketeer and other stories. I expect soon there'll be a Rocketeer with Conan, Rocketeer with Wonder Woman, Rocketeer with Barbarella. They seem to be doing all these sort of combo stories. So many more adventures. Rocketeer and Batman. Why not? Because there's quite a few references to pulp, and pulp fiction is all the way through this. There's definitely a love of the pulp period, which I love as well. I love all those old stories. Doc Savage, all the Shadow stories. Got not obviously original ones because they are super expensive, but a lot of the original stories, just superb stories. Well, they appeal to me anyway. Maybe not to everyone. I love the films and those sort of things. That is, and it's got a nice biography at the back. Dave Stevens there. So that's it. IDW's brilliant artisan. Hopefully they bring out many, many more of these. I just love, every time they announce one, I just think, wow, must buy. Apparently there was a Star Wars one, and that seems to have stopped or vanished or whatever. I don't know. Seems to still be unavailable, which is a pity. I was looking forward to that. Looking forward to all the other ones, the Stranker one especially. So, but this one, I love this one. And as I say, I've never read the story before, but I just genuinely found the story a joy to read all the way through. Really quite a good adventure tale, if not a bit daft. But the humour was just beautiful, and it's just a pleasure to read. I'd have to say, totally recommended.